Okay, welcome back, Art 3. Today is the beginning of your independent sketchbook study. So we have done 3 sketchbook studies together. We started with our unintentional marks, then we did our texture, and then we went into Sgraffito. Then you had some studio days to finish those up. You should have turned those in. And then now you should be ready to find a technique of your own to study yourself. So you will just find one technique you have not done before. And when I say you haven't done this before, I am saying you have not spent a whole project on it. It might be something you've been familiar with, but you really haven't studied it. In some video, I can't remember which one, I think it was when I was talking about sketchbook studies, I mentioned if you were in Art 1 and you, let me think of one, you really enjoyed the shading technique of stippling or pointillism and you really want to create a sketchbook study over that, you're more than welcome to. Or if in Art 2, same thing with that value technique of using micography, you couldn't use that because you've done a whole project over it. However, in Art 1, you didn't do a project over stippling, at least not with me, or Coach Crotch, I believe. So you couldn't, or you could do that one, is what I'm trying to say. So one you have not done before. And then again, you will set up your sketchbook the same way. I said again, I haven't said this yet, but you will be setting up your sketchbook the exact same way that you've done in your sketchbook studies. So having that 2-page layout with an experiment and a final. So these are the things that I'm going to be looking for, and I really want you to pay attention because things are going to change just a little bit. The first thing that's going to change will be that I am expecting you to document this process. And the number one reason why I'm expecting you to take pictures is because in AP Art, you are expected to document your entire process of you creating artwork. So I want you to get in the habit of it now. That way, when you get to AP Art, you're not like, oh my goodness, I just spent weeks and weeks and weeks on this project and I never took a photo. Okay, so I really want you to get in the habit of it now. And with this, you are going to upload at least 3 pictures, the beginning of the work, the process of the work, and the finished product. And this can be your whole entire layout, or it can just be your final experiment or your final piece itself. There's no wrong answer here. This is an easy grade. It really is, or easy part of your independent study. It's a free 100, really. Okay, then you'll have your 2-page spread, and this is a separate grade than this, so documentation in Skyward, this will be its own grade, so again, that free 100. Then we jump over to your 2-page spread. Now your 2-page spread and your questions go hand in hand, just like your sketchbook studies before. These are in your 2-page layout. So you will have, again, your 2-page spread. I am looking for your technique attempt, so your practice, and then a final product. I said small final product. I'm looking for it to be a page within your sketchbook. So I'm not meaning like teeny tiny final. And then, of course, I'm looking for your questions to be answered. You guys have independent study questions. And you need to answer those thoroughly in 2 to 3 complete sentences, hopefully like you've been doing before. So make sure you're answering those, not in like quick one-liners. You have to be more expressive, or I guess, again, I'll say more thorough with your responses. So keep that in mind. And then these are the questions. What technique did you find? You could say, like, for instance, trying to think of a technique a student used. Oh, a technique a student used that I'm going to show you here in a second is where they created a airbrush technique. So you could say, what technique did you find? They could have been like airbrush technique using markers, and so forth. And then to like, what tools and materials did you find most effective for practicing this technique? And then you'll go in to explain what you tried, what worked, what didn't, and so on. I like when you guys are thorough when answering your questions. And then something, I don't know if I've said this before, but you will choose one of your independent sketchbook studies. You're going to do 3 this year. And you're going to choose one of those 3, and you're going to present it at the end of the year. So keep this in mind as you're making your independent studies or your sketchbook studies, because you will have to present your layout and give a demo of it at the end of the year. Just one of them, but make sure you're really studying it and knowing it well. So I like to say this now at the beginning of the year, so you're not confused when it comes to December and I'm like, all right, guys, are you ready to present? So just know at the end of the year, you will be presenting one of these. Real quick, I do want to show you what it's going to appear like in Google Classroom. So for you, your assignment should pop up today on August 13th, and you should see this video that I'm recording now, and then you should also see the questions. And then in this assignment, I pretty much just go over everything that I'm grading. So for documentation, you will submit your photos here. So in this assignment, you're going to upload at least 3 pictures. Again, the beginning of the work, during the work, and the finished product. You will not be uploading, or you will not be turning in your sketchbooks this way. You will still turn in your sketchbooks tangibly in person for your teacher to grade. However, I will be able to see it in your documentation as well. So just know you're going to upload your pictures here in Google Classroom. And I believe you guys will have, this is the 13th, this will be due on the 18th. So yeah, it says it right here. On the 18th, I put it at midnight, make sure it's done. And then I guess when you come in on the 19th, if you haven't turned in the actual sketchbook, you should be doing that at the beginning of class. But I would definitely aim to have it done on August 18th along with your pictures. Okay, that's part of it. Okay, so let me go back to my little slide here, and I'm just going to show you one example so I don't take too much of your time today. And here we go. And I'm just going to show you the airbrushing one because I've already mentioned it. So this is someone's independent study where they did the airbrush technique using markers. I believe they just used a washable marker and a straw. And they practiced their technique. They answered the questions. And you can tell that they really answered them thoroughly, which I very much appreciate. And then here was their final. Again, I'm giving you more time than I did this previous year, so make sure you are going pretty hardcore in your final. more so than this. But anyway, I do appreciate them playing with the technique. These are kind of my expectations. Also, I would love it if you guys spent a little bit more time on the layout too. However, this technique was really great and really fun to read about. So that is your independent study. Again, your independent study will be due on August 18th. And the next video you'll see from me is I'm going to be talking about a peer review, which you guys will do. I think I have it down for in 2 days, and I'll explain what that is, but just know that you'll be sharing kind of the process of your independent study with someone, and you'll be reflecting with each other and kind of giving each other feedback. But anyway, that is an independent sketchbook study. Today, I would definitely get out your Chromebook or your phone if you don't have your Chromebook yet, and I would be researching different techniques. All right, you guys go have some fun, and I'm excited to see what you make. All right, bye.